Hey everybody, and welcome back to the second edition of Let's Play Lefty. We are at Willow Valley in Richmond, Rhode Island, and we've got 5 lefties today, and we're going to play some Wolf. So my name is Sam Henderson, and I'm sitting here with my friend and co-host, Andres Ripley. Welcome back, Andres.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me again. It looks like first on the card we have Warwick, 942 rated player. Looks like his hot round is actually 1,003, which is pretty solid at Daisy. Looking forward to seeing what he's throwing today.
Yeah, for sure. And then next we got Shane Gallagher. I'd never met Shane before, but he comes to the putting league at Atrium on Main on Tuesday nights. And, you know, anytime we notice somebody with putting with the left hand, we go talk to him. So we're loving Shane. We're glad he got to come out with us.
Yeah, great putter for sure. Next we got Gannon on the card, 832 rated. I believe he actually plays in the general Borderland area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, for sure. He also kind of lives in the Rhode Islandish area. I've called him New Guy Nick for the last 2 years, so I don't know when that actually expires. All right, next up is me. I'm pretty pumped to be back at Willow Valley. I love this course. It's by far the best course in Rhode Island, but
Agreed.
Just like one of my favorites overall. I just think the scenery is just super cool. And Chris Kulig is back. I think he's been in every lefty video we've ever made.
Oh yeah.
So he'll be out here throwing some shots. We were out here on a Monday, and the course was pretty slick and icy. Here's the little course overview of Hole 1 provided by our friends at Greatest Media Team. So shout out to Q and Ravis and co. So wow, this looks so nice when it's not snowy and there's limbs on the tree or leaves on the trees. But yeah, let's get into it. So we're playing Wolf today, and Wolf is a 5-person game. And basically how it works is we're going to play skins, and typically it's 2 people versus 3. So Lawrence had the box, and he didn't throw a great shot, so he gets to pick who he wants his partner to be, and he has to call it immediately after they throw. If he doesn't pick them immediately, then he can't have them on their team. And then so he's going to pick 1 other person for his team, and then the 3 other people that he doesn't pick will be on a team, and we'll be playing best disc doubles, 2 against 3. So I don't think he's picked a partner. We haven't had the greatest shots.
Sam steps up here with, what were you throwing there?
It's my pink Lucid Deputy, my turnover putter.
Looks pretty good right there.
Yep. So, right, this is the part where I give him that expected look. Come on, pick me. And here we go. So right now, for the first hole, Lawrence and I are going to be on a team, and we're going to play against the other 3. And it's scored like skins, so the first hole is worth 1 skin. If no team wins it, then it pushes to the next hole, and then the next one would be worth 2.
Exactly. Looks like those 3 threw forehands and didn't really get anything too close to the basket, so let's see if they can make this long circle 2 look.
Yep.
For folks who haven't been here before too, that cave right behind the basket is out of bounds, so it's a little bit of a thing you want to worry about as Chris goes right into it.
Chris hears you in the past and throws right into it. So Shane kind of gives it a half layup bid, which, you know, it's skins, so as long as we...
nice putt.
Thank you. So Lawrence and I, we start with a skin on the first hole.
You also notice, for people who are here for the first time or haven't been in a while, that they got brand new baskets at Willow Valley, so a very nice addition to the course. Especially on hole 2 here, you'll see one of the older baskets they had on the course looks quite different than what the basket looks like now.
Yeah, for sure. I remember playing this when they had single chain Innovas, and then they went to the Dynamic Disc Recruit basket, but now we are up to these amazing Disc Golf Park ones from Discmania, and they are super nice targets.
Yeah. And hole 2 right here is a great lefty hole. It's 275, slightly uphill with some OB rock wall on the right. Probably a lot of people just throwing straight mid-ranges on this, trying to get up into the circle.
Yeah, I always find this hole to be kind of difficult. That tree on the left side, kind of mid-fairway, the one Nick is flying by right now, it makes you push kind of a flat shot that hyzers late, and it really makes that hyzer angle really tough. And we had a nice tee pad on hole 1, but we're going to get a lot of ice on the rest of the tee pads, and we should have brought a shovel, but we are going to be using a towel for most of them to try not to be slipping and falling. These were pretty terrible conditions, but you know, we planned it and we just went out and we played. So here we are.
Yep.
Chris throwing a Casey rock.
Right up the middle.
Right, and skips it up there. Another look from about 40. So I think Shane is...
I think he went first.
Shane went first. So I don't think he's decided on a partner yet. So I think since Lawrence is last, that makes them automatically on the team. Lawrence
Nice throw, Lawrence.
Lawrence looks like he went for a fairway. Oh, and was sliding right up to the basket and hit one of the last rocks.
They should be right inside the circle. So it looks like you're lining up about a 50, 45-ish foot putt here.
Right.
Oh, good bid.
Right. Didn't make it, but also didn't fall on my face. So we're going to call it a win right here. We got Nick from the same spot.
Nick's funny because he throws lefty but putts righty, it looks like.
Right.
So
Indeed, he does. So he's going to be the only right-handed shots will be Nick's putts. And we got a triple layup, so then Shane and Lawrence have this just outside circle putt to try to win the hole.
See if Lawrence can knock this down here. Probably about 25 feet, I would say.
Yep. I think he's repping his Team Rhode Island Team Challenge gear. But unable to connect on that putt, so we're just going to clean up and we'll head on to hole 3.
Sorry, Craig.
So now that we have a push, hole 3 is going to be worth 2 skins. And I believe Nick is going to have the box. So Nick is going to be able to decide who his teammate is.
This is an awesome hole in my opinion. It's a par 4, 506 feet. You're throwing through a pretty tight gap here into an open field, and then the shot kind of curves to the left, and you have to worry about a little bit of out of bounds as you approach this rocky green, but definitely a fun hole to play.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites on the property. I mean, there are so many good holes, but I really like this one. So there you can see the towel that we're using. It's still pretty dry, but by mid-round, it weighs about 80 pounds. So Nick lining up with a backhand turnover. Not the best footing, and totally shanks it. So
can't blame him.
Yep. I am going to go forehand with my giant here and throw it absolutely terribly also. So, you know, it was raining, there was ice. We weren't exactly warmed up. This isn't the most amazing disc golf to start, but
looks like Chris hits the gap there and gets a nice skip to the left.
Absolutely shoots it way out there. That is an ideal spot. Lawrence, a primarily forehand player, which as a lefty is pretty smart.
Yeah.
He's going to be throwing a Ballista Pro. And just gets over it a tiny bit, but it kind of skips out. So after Chris's amazing drive, I believe it's Nick and Chris on a team. So I'm going to be with Lawrence and Shane for this hole.
Looks like Shane almost got out himself, but wasn't quite able to.
No, but we're going to take Lawrence's drive. He was the best one. And we got to go standstill because this is an absolute sheet of ice. And I'm going to go with the same giant that I just threw. And just a little too much any. That is not going to quite come back. That's a beautiful disc from a tournament I think I ran in 2015, and I was meant to come hang it up in the shop, but it was just too beautiful, and I was like, you know, I should just throw it.
Looks like Shane left his a little too high, and that hyzers out a little bit early.
Yep, so I think we're going to end up taking Lawrence's, but not exactly in birdie position, maybe like an obstructed 50-footer. See if Nick and Chris can get up and down and win the skins.
He also hyzers out a little bit early. Looks like maybe circle's edge there on the left.
Right. Still in bounds, and then Chris with the standstill with his judge. Kind of saws it off a little, catches the tree, and he's going to land basically next to where our lie is. Yep, you can see his red disc there. So I'm going to go first and kind of give it a run with my harp.
Ooh, good bid.
Not quite, but that's the nice thing about having 3 people is you can be pretty aggressive with the first 2, and then if you don't have one right next to it, you can lay up, but if you do, you can just have a third person run at it. So although these are going to be the 3 not as great shots, the extra person kind of makes up for it.
So looks like you guys are parked for your easy par.
Right. So now we got Nick and Chris. See if Chris can nail this for 2 skins.
Looks like a pretty tough straddle putt. Ooh, just
off
low.
the bottom.
So everyone's tapping it again for looks like yet another push, so it should be 3 skins going into the next hole.
Yeah. Yeah, these baskets are nice.
They're so pretty.
They're pretty and they just sound amazing. All right, so I have the box, 3 skins up there. I'm going to be throwing a blend judge, my nice beat one.
Ooh, looks like you hit the gap nicely and should be up inside the circle there.
All right, so I am going to call Wolf. So basically now it is me against the rest of the 4 players. And Chris is next. I think he's throwing rock.
Looks like it.
Oh, another great shot. I think he ends up sliding on the ice just a little bit long of the basket, but we couldn't really tell.
Lawrence steps up here with maybe a mid-range. It looks like it's kind of hard to tell. And
Yep, gets over on it. Not close, but not important because he already has a good one on the drive.
Yep.
This is Shane throwing EMAC Truth.
Oh, man. Oh!
With the ace run.
That was awesome.
That would have been awesome to see the ace on camera, but just off. And then Nick, I think he's throwing an AVR of some sort. I think he throws a JK or a Yeti and just hyzers
Also a great
nicely.
shot.
Oh, and you see it hit the stump right behind the basket, so I was actually out, but I make my putt. And we got 2 tap-ins on hole 4 for a couple twos. Oh, and Chris runs up and dunks
Oh, that's not
right.
Got him. And Nick just shakes his head as they walk off. That's hilarious.
Got him.
Another great hole here. We got hole 5, which is a 470-foot par 4. Slight uphill shot here, which probably favors the righty backhand. You want to try to finish a little bit to the left after your drive, which is going to give you a somewhat straight approach into this elevated green up here. A couple trees and a couple rocks you have to avoid, but definitely not one of the harder holes on the course, I would say.
I would say that the tee shot is tough. You got to hit this like sort of. It plays a little uphill, and this like, you know, you want to keep it right and then have it finish left. It does work out well for the forehand if you've got it, but I'd say a challenging tee shot, and if you don't hit it, you can be in big trouble.
That's fair, especially on a day like this when the tee pads aren't the cleanest.
We found a like old pole. I think that might have been on the back end of a rake. You know, we were trying to break up the ice. We did the best we could, and then we'd throw our towel down. So it wasn't the best. I had a metal shovel, and I was like, should I bring this? And then for whatever reason, decided not to. And that was a mistake.
So I think Chris went first and had actually a decent drive. He should be up and to the right a little bit. It looks like Nick also got up there a little bit as well.
Throwing an F3 backhand, and I'm going back to the giant. Hasn't worked out so great so far, but see if we can put a good one up there. And
Just slipped right out of your hand, it looked like.
Yeah, I don't think I had it lined up great.
So does that mean that you and Chris are partners on this hole, or did he declare someone else?
No, Chris picked Nick, right.
All right, so you, Lawrence, and Shane are together, it looks like. You can kind of see the basket, not the easiest shot, but...
No, you really want to be a little bit more on the right side, right to the middle of the fairway. Especially as a lefty, we get that nice hyzer look.
Yeah.
So here comes Shane throwing an
Oh, wow.
and gets that nice stop at the end. So he's ended up being just inside circle 1, so we're going to have the birdie look.
Chris kind of held onto his disc a little too long. Let's see if Nick can try to get it close for him.
Right, looks like he's got a drone in his hand, going a little hyzer out to the left, and swings it in past the trees. Skips it right up underneath the basket.
Nice shot.
Slides down a little bit, but not too far. All right, so we've got a circle 1 putt.
First one a little bit off to the left from Shane there.
All right.
Lawrence, follows suit.
Spot. All right, so now I've got this pretty big putt. I do not want to miss low.
Pressure's on, and he misses high.
Yeah, so we basically, they've got I would say essentially a tap in for 4 skins right here, and Nick makes good, so.
Oh man, that hole also has got me in the past. If anyone's seen that coverage from last Willow Valley tournament, that hole, I definitely took a couple putts on myself.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up, but I guess if you
I had to do it to myself. It was painful.
All right, we got hole 6. It's probably my favorite chintzy hole I've ever played. You got to throw this small gap. There's really not a great landing zone. It's all luck, and yet I still love this hole. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense.
It's pretty, but it's tough.
It's tough. So Nick, I think it's going to go back to that same AVR he threw on 4, and throws a hyzer, and it misses everything.
Somehow gets up to the basket.
Right, so I believe he has been called with Chris.
Look at you.
I'm having fun. I'm going to throw a thumber about a mile in the air.
And it goes about 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet. Right in the middle, which I was pretty proud of, but it really just didn't push it far enough, but it was pretty fun.
Chris with probably a standstill judge here, a little too early.
Oh, I'm sorry, this is hole 6, so Lawrence had the box first and picked Nick for his partner. So now it's Shane, Chris, and myself against those two.
It's also a really pretty basket location. It can be kind of tough, you know, if you're putting down like you guys are, because you can see these putts are going to circle's edge on the far side. But
right, I feel like every time I've birdied this hole, it was because I made a sweet 35-footer.
That tends to happen.
Onto the elevated pin. All right, so Nick has another tap in.
What a drive.
Right, so Nick, now with 5 skins, Chris has 4, Lawrence has 2, I've got 1, and Shane doesn't have any. But here we go, hole 7, 1 skin on the board.
Plays slightly farther than 227, I would say. It's a little bit uphill, and there's some trees and rocks you got to navigate around.
For sure, yep, some kind of interesting gaps. Oh, Nick gets the hyzer flip, it's just coming out, skips to the right. So I don't think Shane is going to draft him quite yet. I'm going to throw fell in on a big Annie and just let it flex back. It kind of hits that last rock, but I'd say 20-something feet from the basket.
Looked pretty good.
Yeah, I would definitely take that in tournament play. Happy to land there for sure. Yeah, this is a nice angle of the fairway from view. And Chris goes express route through the trees on the left side. Hyzer's past the face of the basket and is pretty much parked. So Lawrence, all he has to do is take an ace run and finds a tree.
All right, so let's see.
Shane drafted me on his team, steps up, can't quite make it. And,
there you go.
I just absolutely sneaked it in. And Chris and Nick are...
Wow.
Chris tries to dunk one on Nick again. Not quite successful, but Nick gets it done. So we got another push, and we're on to hole 8.
This is a tough lefty backhand hole. The line really goes straight up about 150 feet, I would say, to closer to 200, then dumps left.
All right, I don't know if Nick was going for that really sneaky left side gap, which is there, but...
Get some turn. Couldn't quite get the turn on it.
Need a little higher, a little turning a little more earlier. Usually I throw that pink deputy I threw on hole 1, but I went for the fuse this time just because I didn't think I was going to get the distance I needed, but then I didn't get the turn I needed, so...
Oh, let's see if they can get left. That's a good shot by Lawrence there.
Shot, yeah, it looks probably a little bit short, but that is the best line that I think we've seen so far. And then Shane was first last time, so he's on the bottom. It's a turning backhand, just not quite high enough to get down to the left to the hole location. So I believe it's Shane, myself, and
good bid.
somebody else we're about to see.
We're going to find out. It's kind of hard to see, but there is OB behind the basket, I think, on this.
Oh, and Chris. Okay, here we go. He's got a good run at it. Oh, just short. So that means Nick and Lawrence are teammates again. They've got this putt.
Hyzer? Oh, couldn't quite hyzer in time.
Not quite.
This would be a big putt by Nick to get yet another skin if he could knock it down.
He's going to run away with it. Oof, but hangs it out a little bit right. Maybe you should putt with the other hand there, pal.
Putt with the correct hand, please.
Yep. All right, so we're going to get some tap-ins, I think. And we'll be on to hole 9, which will have 3 skins available.
Wow. Hole 9, I think, is actually one of the hardest holes on the course. It's a downhill par 3, 345, but there's definitely a tight gap that you have to hit and just keep pushing straight the whole way down.
Right, so I'm going to keep it nice and low and just try to slide it up there. And there's some roots that say, no, thank you. But by far better than some of the drives that I've thrown on this hole.
Yeah.
It's an intimidating green. It is a tunnel.
Love the little kick move there by Chris as he lines up his backhand. I think this blue disc he keeps throwing is his wraith, if I'm not mistaken.
Sure.
I made him a wraith person. Quick fun fact.
Yep, absolutely.
A little bit early.
Goes right.
Lawrence also lining up the backhand here. He actually hits the gap nice on hyzer. Let's see how this ground play works out. Oh.
Same fate as mine.
Yep. You'd think the ice would let it skip, but there's just too many rocks and roots that are just pushing you guys to the side. I'm going with Shane. He called it.
Yep, so I, with 3 skins available, I didn't want to give any more skins to Nick, and if I hadn't called Shane, then Nick would have been on my team, so...
Oh, that's a great strategy right there.
Yeah. You're playing against everybody else, but you can't be helping out the people that are kicking your butt. And he's already got a 4 skin lead on me, so he's I'm not going to try to be helping him out at all.
No, that was a great forehand approach right there by Shane, right up pretty close to the basket. You basically have the green light to run it.
Yep, so I got my little Justice here. I like this little step out. There were a couple different lanes. None were awesome, but this was probably the one I could get most aggressive on. I'm going to stand over it for a second and then be not even close, so ended up not being so bad, but...
Not the run you were looking for,
Nope.
but that's okay.
Now we got the other team with Nick and
Ooh.
Lawrence and Chris from about 75-80 probably.
Can he get up there?
Lawrence basically
yeah.
looks like he parks it, but it actually ends up sliding on the ice to about 40, or I'd say outside the circle. And I made the mistake of telling them about it because I'm a nice guy. So
Oh,
Chris
man.
lays up to the rock instead of trying to go for it.
Nice putt there, which I assume was going to lead to a push once they tap in. Chris is here.
Yep, Chris had a nice one. All right. And that brings us to hole 10. And I believe Chris will have the box. Now, in our last 2 videos, Chris has hit the basket on hole 10. So let's see if he can keep that up.
He's definitely going with a higher speed Halo Wraith here.
Right down the left side gap. It's going to skip over to the basket and...
Oh, man. Something
go
about
under.
hole 10 with him. That was still really close.
Right, and I believe he calls Wolf.
It's a great call on his part, I would say.
Right. We weren't exactly sure how close they got, but he went for it. Especially with the... All right, so there's that one tree that Lawrence just flew by, kind of is the divider on the fairway, whether you're going to go inside or outside. What's your play, Dre?
I usually go inside, actually, and I like to throw a T-bird 3, although it's not the longest hole. I like the lower, quicker line with a T-bird 3 on the inside.
Yeah, I feel it. So normally I go that way too. But with the... Right, you got to go kind of a slower, straighter disc.
Yeah.
Where you got to kind of push it through. So this time I'm actually going to go Grace and go
Ooh.
outside with the
Is
little
it gonna
less...
hyzer in time?
Right, it's pushing deep. It's trying to skip over, but gets denied by the trees.
Oh, man.
So we end up going with Lawrence's. He's just inside the circle.
Hopefully, let's see. Nice putt, Lawrence.
Right in the heart.
And I assume Chris is pretty close at
Chris
that
is
point.
super parked. So it was a good call for Wolf, but with 4 lefty backhands on this hole, it was unlikely he's going to get away with
Yeah. Thank you. Nice job, Chris. We're going into hole 11 here, which is probably the shortest hole in the course, 205. Pretty straight shot with some OB a little bit behind the basket, so you got to keep that in mind on these shots.
Right.
Especially with the ice, too. You probably don't want to get too close and slide all the way down the hill.
Right. And even though he parked it, he wouldn't really want to call Wolf because he would be scared of an ace coming on, right?
Also true.
He can just pick the second drive that's nice and close, and then hopefully not get
aced on.
right,
Ooh,
not get aced on. But
that looks really good out of his hand. No way.
oh,
Wow.
just short.
Great shot by Nick there. You're probably lining up some kind of judge.
Yep, that pink judge that I threw on hole 4. I should throw a heart, but I thought I would try to turn it up and over into the basket. It fades out a little bit, but it's right there.
Still a good shot.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Chris, standstill judge.
Yep.
Well, looks pretty good, but no, that's turning
Just
too much.
turned over.
Looks like Nick's going to have a nice tap in right there.
Yep. And then
Lawrence is right there as well.
Tap it in as well. So, pretty routine hole. And now we're on hole 12 with 6 skins built up. So, really, the next person to take these skins is going to be absolutely in the driver's seat.
They're going to be looking good.
Right.
Hole 12 here, par 5, 550 feet. It's actually a pretty short par 5, but it's still not the easiest hole. There's a lot of trees you have to navigate, and then once we get up to this green, you're going to see there's a cart path on the left that's all out of bounds, and lots of small trees you have to navigate around to try to get up to the green.
Yeah, for sure. The distance is not the challenge on this hole. It is the winding fairway filled with many trees.
Definitely. Kind of feels like a Maine par 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it'd be a par 7 in Maine. But
We won't go there.
yeah. Shane throwing Vandal and kind of flips it over, hits the left side, but ends up in the middle. Not a terrible shot. And then Nick is going to come up with a buzz, also flipping it over a little bit.
Now you get a little bit more hyzer out of these shots.
Yep. Yeah, you really want to throw that flip-up hyzer that goes straight and then just barely fades off to the right. It's kind of a tough little push. So I think I'm going to throw Stag Eye also hanging out left and hit a tree. So we've just got a real parade of great shots to start.
Chris going with probably the flex forehand here. A little too high.
A little too high.
But
good kick, straight down, right in the middle. So now Shane has not picked a partner, so he's with Lawrence no matter what. Lawrence is throwing Grace.
Look at that shot. That needs to sit if it can, so it doesn't get too right.
And it does, and it just kind of fluffs in the snow.
Good.
So we had this awkward line right behind the tree. Chris is trying to go backdoor, long fade. Doesn't quite get it.
Nick's going flex forehand here.
Actually, roller.
Oh.
Which...
that's not bad.
Right, tough on that weather, or with that weather on that fairway, but...
yeah, I'll give it to him for trying it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Could have been worse.
Anybody who throws a roller is cool to me. So I tried to throw a river flip-up that just went straight, but I just left it too low. So we are kind of out of position after 2 throws. I think we are where a great drive lands.
Lawrence kind of hits one of those last trees you got to miss before you get up towards the green.
Right. So this is a nice spot to be as a lefty on after the first shot. Kind of on the right side of the fairway, you can hang it out straight and then pull in right late.
Shane's shot actually wasn't too bad. I think that should give them an approach into the green. Still be tricky, but...
Yep. So now the 3 of us really have to get up and down from here, or we're going to be in big trouble.
Looks like you're going justice on the flex forehand line.
Yep. Using every inch of height to try to get an angle.
Just too much cut out of your hand, it looked like.
Not quite. So now we really are going to depend on Chris to rescue us to get at least some kind of look. He's going back to the Wraith.
Yeah.
Gets that needs to sit. Needs to sit and then hits the tree.
Oh, that's a good tree hit.
Absolutely. Gives us a chance. It was probably going out of bounds without it.
And that's a great shot by Shane there.
Shane absolutely parks it. Lawrence basically got to throw it in to improve. Does not. So now we are left with this, I'd say 55, 60 footer.
Okay.
And basically, if we don't hit it, then Lawrence and Shane are going to go from 2-0 to 8-6, and have a commanding lead. And I currently have 1 skin, so if I miss this,
it's a big putt
I would
for you
basically
here.
be out.
Let's see if you can knock this down from about 50 feet. Oh baby, that's a classic Sam Henderson putt right there.
I'm not ready to go home. I'm not going to be organizing an event and then be out after hole 12.
Can't be doing
Not
that.
happening. Not happening.
That's the highlight putt of the round so far. Great putt, Sam. Way to keep it going.
Now this pushes to 7 strokes. Now it's getting even more dire. If you want to win, you got to be on the winning team for one of these.
Definitely. This one, I'm excited to see if anyone actually tries to go the lefty backhand here, because it is really hard to get that shot shape from the lefty backhand perspective.
Absolutely. So the icy fairway actually plays great for the forehand skip shot.
Exactly.
Here comes Nick, who is still leading the way with 5.
Not the best shot, not the worst shot. He's in the fairway, but didn't get as left as he probably wanted to.
All right, so I'm next. I'm going for that giant.
Oh, can you get around the corner? It looks like you do. With a skip, you got to be up in the circle for sure there.
So now Nick is going to call me on his...
Of course.
As his partner, which isn't great for me, because if Nick wins 7 skins, then he'll have 12 and I'll have 8.
So you're almost rooting for these guys to park it.
Right, exactly. So we're not sure how far it is, but I don't actually want to win.
One of the few times that actually happens in disc golf.
That's why this game is fun. So I need Lawrence to throw a good shot here, and he does. He puts it out nice and straight.
Oh, just beats around the trees.
And gets the skip
nice
left,
job, Lawrence.
so he's in the circle, and I'm relieved. Right, and since Nick went first this hole, I have the control of the box next hole.
Nice
and
putt,
so
Chris.
I'm excited that Chris cashes that putt. Nick is trying to...
Nick wants to make it interesting, clearly.
Don't
Let's
worry,
see.
I got you, buddy.
No pressure on this quick tap in for you.
All right,
Nice and
I'm not
easy.
going to make that last putt and then miss that one.
Yeah.
So. All right. We're
On to
on
hole
to hole
14.
14, which is going to be worth 8.
This is also a really fun hole. It's a par 4, 400 feet. Goes pretty straight, and then towards the left, you do have the OB cart path to keep in mind if you push too straight off the tee. And you have a slightly elevated green here where you can get some rollways back onto the cart path. So you got to be careful here.
For sure, this is such a cool hole. Really want to throw, I normally throw backhand. I like to go backhand river, turn it up over the hill, but today with this conditions, I'm just going to take the one-step forehand flex.
Probably a smart play, and that's a great shot right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Got left enough, you should have a semi-straight look at the basket from there.
So Chris is going to go wraith, which isn't very flippy, and going uphill, I think it's going to be tough to turn it. Gets it too high,
Yeah.
kind of highs her out.
Did you call Wolf when you shot or no?
No, I don't think going
Okay.
wolf on a par 4 is a great idea. I
That
think
probably makes sense.
You know, if you know you've parked it, then you can go for it.
Good to be here.
As soon as it's out of his hand, I call Lawrence on my team. So now the pressure's on the other guys to throw a good drive and in position.
That's hyzering out too, a little too early.
Yeah, it's up on the hill. We can probably see the basket from there, so it's not ideal, but also workable.
Nick just
Nick
held on a
turns
little
it
too
over,
long.
So Shane with the only kind of usable drive, but still tough. They've got to go down the cart path and then up to
Ooh.
that kind of peninsula green.
Looked like he was out of bounds, but then kicked back inbounds from that.
Right. So here comes Nick throwing flex.
That doesn't look like it's going to get back in.
Needs more hyzer, needs more hyzer.
It's going to be close.
No, it's out of bounds on the
Oh,
backside,
man.
still on the road. A little more overstable of a disc, and then he's on the backside of the green, and they're putting. And here's Chris, laying up a little bit short, but inbounds.
That's a good shot. So now you guys got to get it close to really secure the birdie. That's a great... Was that a harp, I would assume?
Of course.
And if that sits, that's perfect.
Yep. So now I'm going to take off down to hole 12 because I forgot my disc after throwing a bad upshot. So I got to make a little sprint while these guys are putting out. So
Ooh, there's pressure on these putts right here.
They need to make these if they want to win. With 8 skins available, that would put Lawrence at 10 and me at 9. And basically an unsurmountable gap with the amount of holes. We only have 4 holes left, so that would allow only Lawrence or me to
man.
be the winner.
Nick couldn't cash it either, so it's really up to Shane to knock down this 20-footer. Just a little too low.
Oh, they were closer than I thought they were, but not able to put it up. Oh, I found my justice. You can see it in the back as
As your partner taps it in.
right.
So now it's really a battle between you two, I would say.
Yep.
Lawrence at 10, Sam at 9, and you got Nick at 5 and Chris at 4.
Right.
This hole is actually a pretty tough hole. You can never really quite tell what the wind's doing on certain days, but it's a par 3, 415 feet. You're throwing from one wood line to the other wood line. You got to get about, I would say, at least 30 feet into the woods here to really have a pretty easy putt.
Yep.
What was the wind doing on this day?
It was calm, which was the one kind of nice factor, and it had stopped raining at this point. So Chris is going to take a wraith and just
Oh, that's
smash
beautiful. Get through the woods there. Oh, that's a great
it.
shot.
Right. I don't think you can throw a lefty backhand any better than that one.
Did he call Wolf on that, or was he,
He
also
sure
waiting? That's a good call.
Which
Kind of unfortunate that you guys just got the 8 skins.
Right, so now Lawrence and I, yeah, he was really upset because he could have just basically won.
Exactly.
If they had pushed the previous hole, then he would have been able in prime position to just take all the skins for himself. And now that Lawrence and I are on the same team automatically, that this hole
Yeah.
kind of doesn't even matter. So Shane is going to throw a moonshot that measures out. And
Nick's
with the D2.
the hyzer gap. Let's see if that
That
comes
surprised
back.
all of us. Yeah, we did not think he was lining up over there.
You're just going to go with a safe forehand just to get out there, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the big flex.
Oh, you might actually be able to get a hold of it. It looks like it. Let's see if you get a nice little ground skip there. Oh, you definitely did.
Yep.
That's right on the wood line. That's got to be circle 2, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say maybe 35, 40, maybe 45, 50, but honestly, pretty good drive for me. It's not my
Especially
favorite
with
hole.
a forehand, too. That's solid for a forehand.
Right. I'm bang another jumper straddle.
That's a big putt. Oh, push. Hyzered out a little too early. Chris says no way in the background.
Yeah, he would have been pretty grumpy if he had that kind of drive and isn't getting one out of it. Lawrence, I think he putted the zone this time to try to get the hyzer around the tree. We got Shane also putting a judge. Not quite, so.
Let's see what Chris is like. Oh, pretty close one for Chris.
Dude, this is amazing. I don't think you can
Nice
throw a better.
job. That's a great 2.
Right.
That's not too often, actually.
Yeah.
Pretty solid. Yep. Making the trees.
Waving the crowd. All right, hole 16. Another par 4. This shot is tough. You got to throw this hyzer, forehand hyzer or lefty turnover out the gap, and all you can see is this green fuzzy tree, and you got to try to land under it basically to be lined up for the second shot down this wooded fairway into a protected green. I really like this hole, but I don't score well on it.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's almost one of those holes where you're laying up off the tee and then looking to throw a more or less 300-foot straight shot towards the green. You also kind of have this slight mound in front of you too, so it's one of those weird forehands where you have to kind of keep it low, but not too low that you hit the mound in front of your face.
Yep. Height is a big. Wow, that is a great.
That's a really good shot by Lawrence.
Yeah, if you get on the other side of that green fluffy tree, pine, I would have mentioned.
It's a pine,
it's
yeah.
Pine tree.
We're calling it fluffy today.
Fluffy today, and then you're on the fairway. It's hard to do much better than that.
Yeah.
I think we're all gonna throw forehand here.
That would probably make sense.
Shout out to Q, who actually joined us on the whole previous. He saw that we were out filming. I think Nick posted some stories of us on Instagram, and so Q came out and was helping us with some tee pads. So we have nice tee pads the rest of the way.
He's the man for that.
Yeah, for sure. Does a lot of coursework down here in Southern Island. So
great guy.
We like Q, and puts on the putting league on Tuesday nights in Pawtucket that we were talking about earlier. So
yeah,
we appreciate you. Oh, and just as I say, everyone throws forehand. Chris is going to take that wraith and rip it.
Oh, there's always one lefty who's got to make things difficult.
Right.
He pushed a little too long into the right, I would say.
Yep, don't want to land there. All right, so we're going to take my drive. And I believe it's Lawrence took Shane.
Okay.
So now that we're on opposite teams, we have a chance to, pick up a skin. I need one to go ahead or to tie him. Oh, I think I should actually have 9 skins at this point.
I think you might have been down 1 to Lawrence at this point.
I don't want to foreshadow or anything, but I'm going to throw a pretty good turning felon onto the green. And here comes Shane. Oh, so sorry. It was Chris and Lawrence. No, Nick and Lawrence.
That's putting him. I think that rock wall there is probably about 40 feet short.
Yep.
It's kind of one of those holes that it's deceivingly farther from the basket than you think.
Lawrence, that looks like an absolutely perfect shot, and hits a late tree and bounces right. So they've got this kind of circle's edge to prevent the tie. Oh, it is Lawrence Shane. I was right.
Yeah.
Oh, just off the front rim.
Got to combine the 2 putts together, and they got to make.
Absolutely. So now I can do this to tie. All right, now
Nice
we're tied
job.
up at 10.
We got a match here going into the 2 last holes.
Yep, absolutely.
2 holes that I actually like a lot. Hole 17 is a kind of a quirky one. It's a 407-foot par 4 that is almost like a C shape going up and to the right. You got that rock wall that you see on the left side of the fairway that's out of bounds, so you definitely want to throw some kind of hyzer flip that really gets right off the tee as a lefty, and then probably throwing something similar to get up to the green.
Yep, and then because of a winter storm brought down a limb, the pin position is actually pushed further deeper and left, so
oh, interesting.
This is almost like a par 4.5. This hole is, a birdie would just be absolutely incredible. So Shane has control of the box and throws...
What would have been a great shot if that tree wasn't there.
You got to go just inside that, but then have something that's flippy enough to just to like glide out. It's one of those tough, like, make the hard turn right early and then go straight, which is just such a difficult shot.
Looks like he might have got hung up a little early as well and just kind of dropped into the middle of the fairway.
Yep, so I'm going to go Grace here.
Ooh, that looks really good out of your hand. Can you miss everything is the question.
Pops up enough. Oh, late. You really need every inch of flight and ground play to get in a scoring position on this hole. It's just, if you kick down, you'll have something, but it's so tough.
Chris's high wraith shot gets hung up as well and just drops into the middle of the fairway.
Yep. And here comes Lawrence.
So who do we got for partners on this hole then?
I believe
Shane went first.
Yep, and picked Chris.
Okay.
So again, Lawrence and I are on the same team.
Counterproductive.
So we are going to be. It's coming down to hole 18, folks. That's
Yeah.
basically the moral of the story.
Shane hits a little early as well. You can see how many trees there are, especially with tough footing. It's kind of hard to line up a backhand.
Right, absolutely. I feel like throwing turnover forehand a lot on this second approach because I feel like you never have a good run
I've
up.
done that before. Yeah, I think it's actually not a bad play at all.
You can throw a high ante and just let it fight out because you're never going to have that much of a run up. You're going to have weird footing. And I'm not a huge fan of that super high hyzer backhand. I just not a shot that I really love.
Ooh, that's a really nice turnover forehand there.
Yep, Lawrence gets some good distance up the fairway. And so Chris and Shane were kind of tucked in after two. I think they're on the edge of the property, inbounds, but really tough shot to get up and down from there.
Looks like you're going with a classic forehand turnover harp. Ooh, really high.
Really high. There's that wall of trees, basically. Normally, the basket is just shorter on the right, but you can see that down tree right behind Lawrence's head. That is where the basket normally lives. And here comes Nick trying to dunk it with his own.
Ooh, not
Close,
a bad
but
bid.
no cigar.
So you guys are going to be tapping in your four, and is this a four look for Shane here?
I
Shane
believe
and Chris?
so. Yep, they need to hit this to push, which would mean absolutely nothing, but unable to connect.
Nope.
So Lawrence and I are going to pick up an extra skin, go to 11.
All right, so going into hole 18, this is going to be interesting because I think Nick has the box.
Nick has the box.
We got a downhill par 3 at 277. It's a kind of a tight gap with that branch that we're going just under. Right there.
Exactly.
You got to miss that one, and you got to hyzer in pretty late with a forehand or a turnover backhand. There's the OB rock wall deep. And I think there actually is a lefty backhand line that this drone is not showing. I'm curious if anyone decides to take that.
Yeah, it's
It's a little tricky.
yeah, I think it ends up playing better for the righty forehand just because of the angle off the tee.
Oh, I think
Sam
you're right.
and Lawrence are tied. A lot of power here. I choose Sam.
And Nick, thank you. Absolutely.
What a power move by Nick there.
Right, so all the pressure's on me if I want to win. I've got to nail this shot.
Are you going with the giant here?
Yep.
Get left, get left.
Too much angle for too fast of a disc. I need
Oh,
something
man.
either slower or more of a stable
Yeah,
that
I
flicks
could-
earlier.
Do you throw felon on this every once in a while, or?
Yeah, I'm never sure what to throw. It's like, should I throw Justice? Should I throw Felon? Should I throw?
yeah.
I don't love this hole. I don't score. I have parked it before, but it's a pretty low percentage.
It looked like Chris got up into the circle and Lawrence hit a little bit late, so that should keep him a little
Right,
short.
for
But
sure. But they've got two on the dance
Yeah.
floor where
you guys don't have any on the dance floor. I don't
we gotta
think.
I gotta throw it in from the top down the hill around a tree. Gonna try it with a harp and just go over the
Oh,
basket.
Still a
but-
good bid. It's a lot more downhill than the camera shows, of course. You got these big boulders you got to navigate around.
So Nick, after sabotaging me on the tee, is going to try to rescue me, but is unable to.
Can't believe Nick did you dirty like that,
I
man.
can.
And look at this.
Lawrence for the tap in and the win.
Lauren takes the win down with, what,
Yeah.
11 skins, I believe? 12 skins.
Yep. So super fun day out here. Cool course. Conditions were awful, but they're going to be much better for our Lefty meetup on Saturday, February 19th. We're going to meet up at 10 a.m. and we're gonna play some Lefty golf, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you can make it out, we'd love to have you. Otherwise, we're gonna try to do next month. We'll be at the new course in Cape Cod called
Oak Crest.
Oak Crest. Yeah.
Another great course.
Which is your home course for Team Challenge now, for Team
Yeah,
Tank?
definitely an up-and-coming course. A lot of fun shot shapes. Needs to be broken in a little bit more, but in a couple years, I think it's going to be one of the great courses of Massachusetts. So looking forward to playing there with everyone.
Absolutely.